Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are good. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the flexibility matrix method. Already we have discussed about what is this flexibility matrix method, what is the stiffness matrix method in the previous video of matrix method. So in this video, we will solve a problem on the basis of flexibility matrix method. So before going to the problem, let's see what are the steps involved in solving a problem or analyzing a problem using matrix method, that too flexibility matrix method, right? So these are the steps you can see here. The step number one, you can see clearly, we need to calculate the static indeterminacy. If we compare with the stiffness matrix method, there we are calculating the kinematic indeterminacy, that is degree of freedom, right? But here we are calculating static indeterminacy, right? Next one is calculation of free bending moment. Second step will be calculation of free bending moment. The third step will be calculation of reactions at the support in the conjugate beam. Okay. After finding this bending moment, we will draw the conjugate beam, and using that conjugate beam, we will find the support reaction. After that, fourth step is calculation of flexibility matrix. Calculation means you can say just finding the elements of the flexibility matrix and forming a flexibility matrix. Then applying flexibility matrix equation, we will get the unknowns, right? So these are the 5 steps that we need to follow for any problem by analyzing the problem by flexibility matrix method. Okay. Now let's take a problem. These were the steps. Now let's take a problem on this method so that we can see how we will approach for the problem and what are these steps, right? So let's take a problem. So let's have a problem here. This is fixed end A, this is B, this is C. On AB, there is a UDL. On BC, there is a point load. This point load of 40 kilonewton, this UDL of 60 kilonewton per meter. This is 4 meter and this is 8 meter. Okay, and this 40 kilonewton load is acting at the center. So we need to analyze this problem by using flexibility matrix method. So you know, in the flexibility matrix method, what is our first step? Step number one is your calculation of static indeterminacy. Static indeterminacy. Okay. So we will see what is the static indeterminacy in this beam, continuous beam, right? So what is a static indeterminacy? So simply we can say static indeterminacy is nothing. It is equal to total number of unknowns, minus number of equilibrium equation. Which equation? Equilibrium equation. Okay, that is your summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of fy is equal to 0, and summation of moments about any point is equal to 0. These are our three equation of equilibrium. So the number of unknowns minus equilibrium, number of equation of equilibrium will give you the static indeterminacy of this structure, right? Any structure. So what are the total number of unknowns? So you know, for a fixed support, there are three unknowns. If there is a fixed support, what will happen? Three unknowns: horizontal, vertical, and a moment. So here there are three. So three. If this is a roller one, right? If this we give a roller, then only vertical is unknown. Because in this only one reaction will occur, that is vertical reaction. There will be no horizontal reaction and no moment, right? So only vertical. So one. So for this also one, and this is also roller one. Okay. And if there is a hinge support like this, then in this case there are two unknowns. One is vertical and another is horizontal, right? So here three unknowns, here one unknown, and here also one unknown, because this is a roller support, right? So 1 plus 1 plus 3, how much? Then say total is 3 plus 1 plus 1 minus number of equation we have summation fx is equal to 0, summation fy is equal to 0, and summation of moments about a is equal to 0. Means we have 3 number of equations, right? So 3. So the value is 2. It means the degree of static indeterminacy of this continuous beam is 2, right? So we calculated the static indeterminacy of this beam, right? Continuous beam, that is your 2. Now we have done with the step number 1. Now if you talk about after neglecting the axial deformation, right? If you will neglect the axial deformation, because this is a beam, right? So we can neglect the axial deformation means we should neglect this axial forces and we will not use this equation also. So if you will neglect this axial deformation, so here there is no axial deformation, means there is no force in reaction in x direction. Here also there is no reaction in x direction, only one reaction is there at fixed support. At fixed support there is one reaction that is in x direction, so cancel it, we will not consider it. If we are not considering the forces in x direction, it means we will not consider this equation also, because if there is no force in x direction, there will be no use of this equation, right? So after neglecting axial deformation also, if we will neglect the axial deformation, so we will remove from here the x direction, reaction in x, so only the remaining will be in y and moment. So 2, and here 1 plus 1, so again plus 2, so it will be equal to 4, and minus number of equation. Now because we have neglected the axial deformation, means we will not use summation of fx is equal to 0, right? So we have only two equations, summation of fy is equal to 0 and summation of moments about any point is equal to 0. So that is only two equations, so it is equal to 2. Okay, so it is based on the condition, what type of problem is given, you can go with this after neglecting axial deformation also, or this also. The best one will be use always after neglecting the axial deformation in case of beams. It will give you the best result, right? Because in some questions there might be a difference if you are calculating from this 311, means without neglecting the axial deformation you will get static indeterminacy as 1, but if you will calculate from that neglecting axial deformation, it might be 2. So best thing is to use after neglecting the axial deformation. So I have given this also, here I will write after neglecting axial deformation. Axial deformation you can understand means axial deformation, if I am taking this axial deformation, it means we need not to consider any force in x direction and we will not consider the reactions, means this equation in fx is equal to 0, we won't consider this also, as well as we won't consider any reactions in x direction, right? So after neglecting axial deformation, here how many reactions will be there? Only 2, because we will cancel this x1, right? So only moment and vertical. So 2 plus here only vertical is there 1, plus here only vertical is there, and now the number of equation reduces to 2 only, because we have using after neglecting axial deformation. So the value of static indeterminacy is still 2. There will be no change in the question, but in some questions it might change. That's why I explained you the both. So better go with this in case of beams, right? After neglecting the axial deformation. So the degree of static indeterminacy is 2. So from here we understood that our flexibility matrix, which matrix? Because in this what matrix we will make? We will make flexibility matrix, right? So the flexibility matrix will be of 2 by 2. We got it from this static indeterminacy. Okay. So now we will move to the step number 2. This was our step number 1. Now we will go to the step number 2. Okay. And step number 2, in what we need to do in step number 2, we need to calculate the free bending moment, right? Now see what is this free bending moment. We will talk about this. Step 1 over. We need to calculate a static indetermination. Now free bending moment. Let's see what is that. How we will calculate step number 2. calculation of free bending moment, right? So free bending moment. Now see, for free bending moment, what we need to do, just consider it as a simply supported beam. We need to remove this fixed support and all, only just consider as a simply supported beam, that is called as release structure. If you, I will draw it, see here, just simply it is called as release structure. This is A, this let's take at B1, B2, and this is C. Two different spans is there, AB and BC. So this is AB span, this is your BC span, right? Over this UDL is there, right? This is release structure. What type of, whatever the type of reaction is there, whatever the type of support is there, just remove it and make it as a simply supported beam, right? So just I converted this two spans into simply supported beam. Now over this, what type of load is this? UDL. So what is the formula for bending moment? If I talk about MAB, I am talking about A to B. So what is the formula for finding bending moment if the UDL is there on a simply supported? That is WL square upon 8, right? So it will be 60 into 4 square upon 8. It will give you 120 kilonewton meter. Now MBC. What type of load is there? Concentrated load. Where? At the center. So what will be the formula? This is at the center, means from here to here the distance is 4 meter. Okay. So at the center it is acting. So what is the formula for finding bending moment? So that is WL by 4. So if you will calculate it, you will get 80 kilonewton meter. So it is the simple calculation of bending moment, free bending moment. Free bend. Why we are calling free bending moment? Because we are making it free. Here there is a fixed support, but we are removing it and we are simply assuming this is a simply supported beam, right? So after calculation of this free bending moment, we have calculated these two free bending. If three spans will be there, free bending moment will be there, right? Now we'll see the next step, that is our step number 3, calculation of reactions at the support on conjugate beam. Okay, so first we need to make the diagram of the conjugate beam, and previously only I told you the concept of conjugate beam. In a conjugate beam, at any point if you want the deflection, that will be the moment divided by EI will give you the deflection. Okay, we'll see, that is step number 3, reactions at support in conjugate beam. Okay, so first we will make the conjugate beam. Okay, so for this span, if I am talking about AB span, so this is UDL. So what will be the structure of bending moment? Okay, parabola. Now here for BC span, what type of load is point load? So it will be triangular. So triangular. Okay, what is the bending, maximum bending moment? You can see here we have already calculated this as 120, right? In this span the bending moment is 120, and in this span the bending moment is 80. So if you want to calculate, suppose this is A, B, B2 and C. Suppose if you want to calculate the deflection at this point, so what will happen? The moment, bending moment at this point divided by EI will give you the deflection at any point in the conjugate beam. If you want to find the deflection at this point, so what is the moment at this point divided by EI will give you the deflection at this point. Simply if you want to find the deflection at this point, so what will be the moment at this point divided by EI will give you the deflection at this point. This is the concept of conjugate beam, right? Here what is that? This is the maximum point. So maximum bending moment we got as 20 kilonewton meter, right? So to 120 divided by EI will give you the deflection at this point. Similarly in this we got bending moment as 80 kilonewton meter. So 80 divided by EI will give you the deflection at this point, right? So this is 4 meter and this is 8 meter. So we have drawn this conjugate beam, right? Now what we need to do by using this figure, we will calculate the reactions, that is Ra, Rb1, Rb2 and Rc. So we need to calculate these things. So how we will calculate? Okay, so see, let's take this as Ra and Rb1, Ra, Rb1, right? So what will happen? Ra plus Rb1 will be equal to total load, whatever the load is on this span. So how will you calculate the total load in a conjugate beam? That is nothing, area under the curve will give you the total load in a conjugate beam. So whatever the area is this, you can see here, whatever the area under this curve AB1 is the total load on this span. So what type of figure is this? Parabola. So what is that area? Just 2 by 3 into this 4 into maximum height, that is 120 upon EI. So this is the area of this span, okay, of this in this curve, right? So we have calculated the area. This will give you the total load on this span. So it will be Ra plus Rb1 will be equal to, if you will calculate it, see here, 8 40 320 upon EI. Let's take, this is equation number 1. Now use summation of moments at A is equal to 0 or B1 is equal to 0, it's your wish. So I am taking here summation of moments at A is equal to 0 because we need to apply two equations, then only we will get the two unknowns, right? We have having here two unknowns, RB and RB1, RA and RB1. So to find the value of RA and RB1, we need two equations. So first equation is this, second equation is summation of moments at A is equal to 0. If we are taking summation of moments at A is equal to 0, what will happen? RB1 into distance, how much? 4 will be equal to this load, total load into distance 2. So total load is 320 upon EI into distance, because this load will act at the center. So from center the distance is 2, right? Half of 4 will be 2. So 2 times cancel, it will come here, so it will be 160. So RB1 is equal to 160 upon EI. So if you put this value, this is equation number 2, let's say, if you put the value of equation 2 in equation 1, what will you get? You will get RA value, and RA value will also be 160 upon EI. Just calculate it, you will get this RA value. So we have calculated RB1 and RA value. Similarly, if you will go for this span, second span, what will happen? This is a triangle. So what is the area of triangle? Half into base into height. So if you will do RB2 plus RC will be equal to half into base is 8 into height is 80 upon EI. Okay, this is also 320 upon EI. Again, taking summation of moments at C is equal to 0 or B2 is equal to 0, if you will calculate, you will get this RB2 value will be equal to RC value, that is also equal to 160 upon EI. Means all four reactions in this case are same, that is 160 upon EI, 160 upon EI, right? So we have calculated all the reactions. Now what we need to do? Next we need to find the shear. Now we have, in this already we have calculated, we have two static indeterminacy of this structure 2. So let's take the number of unknown. First number of unknown is here. Let's take the coordinate number 1 and let's take this as coordinate number 2. It's your wish. You can take this 1 and 2 also, 1 and 2 also, or 1 and 2 I have taken. It's your wish, because out of 5 or 4, whatever you are thinking, if 5 unknowns are there, then we have 3 equations. If 4 unknowns are there, we have 2 equations, right? So out of 4 unknowns, 2 unknowns we can find, right? So let's take, we have found first unknown at this point and second unknown at this point. So least these are the 2 unknowns that is left for calculation. So it's on your wish, completely on your wish, what 2 points you are selecting, 1 and 2, to calculate that value, right? So I have taken here this as coordinate number 1, this as coordinate number 2. So what we need to do now, we need to calculate shear at these points. What will be the value of shear at this point? So we'll write it as shear at A, and we'll call it as delta 1L. Okay, delta 1L means at first coordinate. That will, at this point, if you want to calculate the shear, what will happen? It will be equal to RA value only. So RA, because there is no force, right? Only RA value is there. So RA is nothing, 160 upon EI. Okay. Now next, shear at B, that is delta 2L. So now delta 2L at this point, if you want to calculate the shear, what will happen? Two forces, right? 160 upon EI plus 160 upon EI. 160 upon EI plus 160 upon EI will give you 320 upon EI. This is the shear at 2 at this point. Why? Because RB1 is also 160 upon EI, RB2 is also 160 upon EI. So RB is nothing, RB is equal to RB1 plus RB2. So see here, what is RB1 value? 160 upon EI. What is RB2 value? 160 upon EI. So here 160 upon EI plus 160 upon EI. So this is shear at A, shear at B, delta 1L, delta 2L. Simply we have calculated. Okay, we got these two values, delta 1L value, delta 2L value. Okay, so this is our step number 3. First step we did static indeterminacy. Second step, free bending moment. Third step, calculation of reactions by using this conjugate beam. Simple calculation, and by using that reactions value only we will calculate shear. So we have calculated the shear also. Now we will go for the step number 4. Okay, so we'll go for the step number 4 now. Step 4. Step 4. What is our step 4? Making flexibility matrix. Flexibility matrix. We will make this flexibility matrix now. Okay. So let's take this. I will show you here. Let's take this. This is first coordinate. This is your second coordinate. Here reactions are there. RA, RB1, RB2 and RC. Now we will apply unit rotation. Now we will apply unit rotation at this point. A means at first coordinate also and at second coordinate also. In stiffness matrix method, we were applying unit force. Here we are applying unit rotation, unit moment, right? This is of 1 kilonewton meter. This is also 1 kilonewton meter. So at this point, because this is a joint, B is a joint. So if we are applying the moment here, it will affect on BA also as well as BC also. So for BA, this is the moment, and for BC, this is the moment, right? Now we need to calculate the flexibility matrix. So first I am taking applying. This is the general thing I have given you. We will apply the unit rotation at 1 also and 2 also, but one by one we will calculate. So applying unit force or moment you can say, or rotation you can say, in coordinate 1. First we are going for coordinate number 1. So if you will apply here unit rotation, what will happen? The conjugate beam structure, if you want to see the conjugate beam structure, what will be the conjugate beam structure? A, this will be B, C, 8 meter, this will be 4 meter, right? This will be the conjugate beam structure. Because at this point, what is the moment? we have given the rotation, unit rotation means 1. So here what will be the deflection value? The deflection value at this point will be 1 upon EI, and similarly at this point it will become 0 because effect will be over at this point at B, right? So here it will become 0 only at B. So from here only we need to calculate F11 and F12. We need to calculate F11 and F12. F11 means flexibility matrix at 1 due to rotation at 1 only. We are giving the rotation at 1 and we are calculating flexibility matrix at 1 only. So in this case, what will happen? Simply calculate the area. This area, we need to calculate the area. What will be the area? Half into base is 4 into height. Height is 1 upon EI. So 1 upon EI into, if we are taking at this point only, then we will take 2/3. Okay, then we will take the 2/3 here. But if you are taking at this point, then what will happen? Area will be the same, no issue. Area will be the same, but if you are taking at this point, so it will be 1/3. Simply remember, if a triangular structure is there, so if you are taking from this at this point, then it will be 1/3, and from this point, then it will be 2/3. Simple. Okay. So from here, if you will calculate, you will get 4 upon 3 EI, and from here, if you will calculate, it will be 2 upon 3 EI. So we have calculated F11 and F12. It's very simple, just area of this figure into that CG value, where the CG will lie. It will lie from 2/3 and here 1/3. Simple. Now applying unit force, or you can say rotation, in coordinate 2. Now we are giving the unit force in coordinate 2. So what will happen? See, if you will see what will happen, the conjugate beam, how the conjugate beam will form, because we are giving the unit rotation at B, right? So what will happen here? B1, so that unit and at end it will be 0 only, right? So here the value is 1 upon EI, and here also it will be 1 upon EI only, because in the release structure I have shown you that moment will be on both the spans, for BA also and for BC also. So for this is for A, B, C, right? This is B1 and this is B2. So here the moment was like this, so 1 upon EI. Here also the moment was like this, so 1 upon EI, right? This is 4 meter and this is 8 meter. So this is your conjugate beam. Now what we need to do? We need to calculate the elements of flexibility matrix. What elements we will get from here? We will get F21 and we will get F22. Now see, if you want to calculate F21, you can calculate. Otherwise, the value will be same, because F21 means it must be equal to F12. It must be equal to F12, then only our problem is correct. Otherwise, we are doing some mistake. So if you want to calculate F21, no problem. Otherwise, simply keep 2/3i, because this value only will be for F21, right? So I will show here by calculation, but you can keep it as simply, right? So calculation F21. We are you giving unit rotation at this point, and we are calculating at the, because this is your first coordinate, this is your second coordinate, right? So we are giving unit rotation at this point, and we are calculating flexibility matrix at flexibility element at this point, right? So first area, half into base into height is 1 upon EI into C. At this point we are calculating, so it will be 1/3 only. So if you will calculate, you will get 2 upon 3EI. Now F22, giving unit rotation at this point and calculating at this point only. But there are 2 points you can see here. These two, if we will add these two, B1 plus B2, then only we will get B. Means at this point also and for this point also, means we need to consider this area also as well as this area also. So first we will see for this area, half into base into height is 1 upon EI into, here only we are calculating, then it will be Obviously 2 by third. See here, I have given you 2 by third. If you are calculating at this point only, 2 by third plus this area. What will be that area? Half into base. Base is 8 into height. Height is again 1 upon EI into, at this point only we are calculating, then 2 by third only. So if you will calculate it, you will get 4 upon EI. So we have calculated F22, F21, F12 and F11. Now we need to make the flexibility matrix. So we can make here flexibility matrix will be nothing, F11, F12, F21 and F22. So just keep it, take some constant term outside. So the matrix will be 1 upon 3 EI into 4, 2, 2, 12. This is your flexibility matrix that we have all calculated. So we calculated the flexibility matrix. Now we'll go for the step number 5. See, it is very simple. It's very simple. Initially, we need to find the static indeterminacy. Then we will go for the calculation of reactions by using conjugate beam. After calculation of reactions, then we will find the flexibility matrix elements, right? And we will make the flexibility matrix. Simple. Now we'll go for the step number 5. So what is our step 5? Step 5 is applying flexibility matrix equation. So matrix equation we will use. Matrix equation. Which matrix equation? Flexibility matrix equation, right? What is that equation? That equation is flexibility matrix into P matrix is equal to delta minus delta L. What is this delta? Initial displacement. If any initial displacement is there, this is that delta, and this is due to the load or reactions. Okay, initial displacement means suppose we have a sinking support, so there only there is some initial displacement is there, but in this case there is no sinking support, so initial displacement is 0 only, right? So flexibility matrix we will write here 1 upon 3 EI into 4, 2, 2, 12 into P matrix unknown, that is we need to find delta value for this 0 minus 160 upon EI. We have calculated delta 1L and delta 2L. Okay, so from here we got 1 upon 3 EI 4, 2, 2, 12 P1 P2 is equal to minus 160 upon EI, and here again minus 160 upon EI. Now equate it. If you will equate, you will get the equations, right? So if you want to make the first equation, what will happen? 1 upon 3 EI will be equal to into 4P1 plus 2P2 is equal to minus 160 upon EI. This EI cancel out. Okay. So the equation will be 4P1 plus 2P2 is equal to minus 480. This 3 will go there, right? This is equation number 1. Second equation again 1 upon 3 EI into 2P1 plus 12P2 will be equal to minus 160 upon EI. From here if you will see this EI again cancel. So 2P1 plus 12P2 is equal to minus 480. Okay. Here. Sorry, this is 320, na? Sorry. Delta 12 value is 320. I am considering it as 160 only. It's 320. 320. Just you can see the previous steps. It is minus 320 upon EI, right? So here it will be 960. Now it will become 960. Okay, this is equation number 2. No problem. It was just, this is just delta 2L value and this is your delta 1L value. What is delta 1L value? 160 upon EI, and delta 2L value we have calculated 320 upon EI. You can go for the step number 2. You can see there, right? So now we have this equation. If you will solve this equation, by solving this equation, you will get P1 value as 87.27 kilonewton meter and P2 value as 65.45 kilonewton meter. So we got this our unknowns P1 and P2. This was our flexibility matrix method. So in this method we have 5 steps, right? So in that 5 step, first step is your nothing. First step is calculation of your static indetermination. Then again second step is nothing. Second step is calculation of calculation of free bending moment. Then third step is calculation of reactions at support. Then your fourth step is to calculate the flexibility matrix, that is making the flexibility matrix, calculation of flexibility matrix elements, and then finally using matrix equation, flexibility matrix equation, we will find the unknowns. Okay, so this was a problem based on this flexibility matrix. In the next video we will do one more problem on the flexibility matrix, in which there will be a sinking of support. Okay, so thank you students.